All right. My mic green, beautiful. Let's do this. Okay, got the holy text here. I'm excited. You're excited. We're all excited. Uh, what is all of this? Okay, so this is what happens when you try way too hard and spend way too long on some project you and your friends came up with, working on a whiteboard. I have my whiteboard over here, like a long time ago. And then, anyway, so in Dewey Cox, he tries to write the greatest song ever. Doesn't work out. He ends up with about 100 dudes playing different instruments. That's what happened here. Okay, so you try to make the greatest game ever. This is the game. Welcome to the game. The world of the game. This is a world. This is 100 levels across an entire planet. Each level is roughly equivalent to its own video game. The idea was to stay. You gonna stay? Stay. The idea was every culture on the planet kind of would like its heroes, its avatars to look a little bit differently. Maybe you want your avatar to look like you, and but like you beat something equivalent of you beat Thor, so you get Thor's hammer, or maybe you want to look like Thor, or maybe you want to look like a Chinese guy that I don't know or have a culture reference to, but some great hero, Li Mubai. I don't know, Li Mubai. Anyway, so there's room for all of that in here. The Iliad. Stick the whole entire book in here. It's just some tiny little PDF file, some bit of script, and then you'll have to look in it and find something that's, find the redoubtable belt buckle, or, Achilles spear, something like that. Or you beat Achilles, you get such things. The club of Hercules. That's cool. Maybe you want that. Maybe you want to look like Hercules. Maybe you want to upgrade to like Zeus type weapons. Maybe that's not part of your culture at all. Maybe you're more into something else. It's in here. So that's the idea. Take everything that's like a spike in your mind for your culture, and hopefully, if it's not in here, it can be overlaid. It can be a patch, So there's the 100 levels. Usually most tracks are like 1 through 10. Yeah, I'm wearing my grandfather's clothing. That's why, about 100 years ago, this is, there's collar pins, weird stuff. Anyway, appropriate for this. This map, this is a map. This is a world map. This is a world map. This is a world map. This is a globe. This is the North Pole, or rather the light pole. That's where that's at. That's where this is at. The dark pole, right here, down there. Now, why would there be a dark pole? Imagine a planet that is rotating around a star, and it's tidally locked, red dwarf style, like the Predator's planet from the Predator. And as it goes around the planet, it rolls, it rotates. Then around that, there are 2 moons. So the 2 moons spin, the planet rolls around the sun. The dark side always points towards the stars, so I guess that way, let's say, and the light side, let's say, points towards this map. So that means the 2 moons would be spinning this way. The theta on that is what did I got here? 2 days per month. That's how long it takes the moons to go around. So every day, new moon, new moon. One moon is like a field, a bright white, like a lovely Elysian field. The other moon is like Unicron, a dark metal, but highly reflective. So that means that it would actually trace out a sort of the eclipse. As the planet would roll, around the star, which would be this way, this being the dark half, the 2 moons would be going around it like this. Where's Unicron? All right. So Unicron sort of orbits like this. That's the metal moon, and the living moon comes around. Now the living moon would cast more of a shadow, and the dead moon would create more of a bright reflection like our moon does. But because the planet rolls this way, is it this way or the other way? It doesn't matter. I guess it rolls this way. Anyway, it spins that way, and that chart, that's why we have the light course that charts this way, and then on the backside, the dark course charts that way. So, yeah, that's what we get there. So that's why those maps look like that. Around the middle, you get a like a green band. So this is, okay, so there's 98 levels. 97, there's a 0 level, which take the place of a level that's like a space level. And then there's 2 levels in the core. There are 10 elements. There are 10 types of characters, but really more like 5 skill groups. And each skill group is broken up into light and dark, or like cold. Kind of usually like evil, but more like cold, and then warm. Try not to miss anything as I go. All right. So, mistakes. When you try to make the greatest thing ever, mistakes creep it. It gets weird. Things when you get to the end, you're like, and you know, I'll hit that up. But at the end, so I'm gonna spend like 1 minute if I can on each of these levels, and then move on. But I'm trying to get a little bit of intro established, and then maybe there'll be some outro at the end. So, basically, the ideal situation is that you would play on a variety of different types of platforms, low-tech platforms that are portable, and then high-tech platforms that are console and computer style, where you just sit at home. Now, it doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter if you weren't able to, if you were disabled and couldn't play very well. That would be a really great wizard class. Okay, so the 5 types would be wizard, warrior, thief, sage, or cleric, and then like something kind of like an adventurer. But also, beyond just a bunch of cultures, there's everything humanity kind of would like to stack and teach somebody via a video game, like like an Ender's Game. He plays a little game, and it allows the government to break them down psychologically. What this is for would be to actually, because the Iliad's in here, and if you played the whole thing, you would get the Iliad, you would read the Iliad, the Odyssey, it would just be available. The Kalevala would just be available. The Quran would just be available. It would just be in there. And there would be perhaps in levels where you're the kind of player that would investigate things like a sage, you would be looking through texts and trying to find references in a Sherlock Holmes puzzle solving sort of way, if that's the kind of player you were. Now, if you were just like some person that wanted to just button mash, you could be a fighter. Punch, punch, kick, kick. Now I mentioned fighter and wizard. Now, how would those two fight each other? That usually doesn't make any sense. But a wizard takes like a few seconds to. Okay, so they can cast a shield. It's like a bubble. Wall is another spell, and it takes 4, 5, 6, 7. This is RPG style. 8, 9, and then you can cast again. And so then they cast their here. Got my props here. So I got my wizard staff, and a warrior punch, punch, kick, kick. He hits my shield, and there is a control that makes it so that like leveled players have to fight each other, or are available to fight each other, whereas the scaled fights have to be much different. Now, and I'll get to that. So you would have a light and a dark cleric. You would have a light and a dark warrior. You would have a light and a dark wizard, a light and a dark thief, and a light and a dark sage. Okay, so now if you say you did level 1 of each of those, you might be what's called like a leader class. Now, I'm going to grab Serpentor here. Serpentor, he's got this nice little frill around his neck. That's a good leader class. And I'm just going to go with this. All right, so you have a variety of systems you might play on, but like you start out and, you know, you go to make your avatar or whatever. You could do that in the system, or let's say you grab your favorite little dude. Here's Serpentor, and here's like a little pad. Now, a good option would be to also buy an NFC pad. The NFC pad would have a chip in it, like your credit card has a chip in it, recognizes it as you, your little dude. Now, your little dude, it would even be better than the pad, would be the little chip that you could stick onto your dude or in your dude. Now, take your little dude, you put it on here. Actually, the pad worked better for me. I'll just grab another dude. There we go. All right, so I put it there. It recognizes my guy. I can wear him as a little key ring thing and keep him around as my little votive, and then pull him out, put him on my thing here, and my game recognizes it, loads up that character, that save file. There's all your save files. Okay, so that your save files can be chained to your dude. Now, also, let's say I want this particular looking dude. So webcam, I need the webcam for that, or just my phones here, and little rotating platform right here in the center, rotates it in front of the webcam. There's a 3D scan of my guy. All right, so say I have a bigger guy like this He-Man here. All right, put it on my little pedestal, put it in front of the phone, rotating platform. All right, and then I can scan the bottom, scan the top. Now this is a good example of a warrior. Looks very what I would imagine the game would slowly morph your avatar, your little dude. Now, if he was a warrior, he would get more dwarf-like, probably. Squat, thicker, disproportionate sized. Actually, weapons more than the head, but he's pretty fun looking. Another good example, besides what I just pulled out, is this little link here. Now, the hat is important because the hat is something like a wizard might have. So as you play the game, you're going to get your hat swapped out. Do I have different hats over here? And not any good ones. But pointy hat, if you're, I guess a light side wizard was the, actually says male wizard, which I'm not super happy about. So that would make the bottom side witch, like Harry Potter, which... Anyway, but skull cap was the original idea. Like in the movie Excalibur, he has this metal skull cap. It's actually very cool. So skull caps on the way on the and more elaborate, more metal and shiny and chrome, I guess. Skull caps on the bottom side, cooler and cooler hats on the top side. Also, wizards would get a wand. Now this is a mandrel for a jeweler. Something that maybe like a sage, like a bottom side tech. Actually, most of the techie sage stuff is on the bottom side, whereas I think more of the adventure stuff, sage stuff, is on the top side. But anyway, let's say I was like somehow a metal wizard. So, and the idea with wizards here is you just visit one out of every element, and anyway. Eventually my wand here would get upgraded to a staff. And there is an element count that's related to levels, that's related to experience points. I can get into that right now, but suffice to say, like this would be here. This is one element of metal. This might be two for the wand. This staff might be 3 or 4, and then whatever the top piece is, the 5th. So, different with a blade. Here's a screwdriver tool for different classes. Got lots of props here. Anyway, why do I think this game is awesome? This game is awesome because it's good for kids. It's good for disabled people. As I said, a wizard only has to like hit buttons every now and then. That's really good for somebody that just has to like key in something occasionally. So what's his name? Stephen Hawking would have no problem playing with an ADD child if they were both level in the 30s and encountered each other. Which happens. There's borders between all the 5 classes, which really is 10, or all the 5 elements. Once again, 10. There's variety of interaction, and also if any level is kind of like, a patch can make it better. All right. So how many minutes was it? 15 minutes on that. All right. So I'm gonna take a pen here. Go over to the board. Hello, this camera. 1, 2, 3. So, I also didn't get into elementals. So there's 2 oddballs. So there's leaders and elementals. All right. So let's say wizard, warrior, thief, sage. Not much room there. And I'll leave some room over here for I'm not sure. So top half, bottom half. So this is okay. So not only is there, actually, I have to get rid of that because there's also the same exact thing for the elements. So this grid here really represents everything that's going on here. These are the 5 character types divided into, these are the 5 elements divided into. I guess there's some room over here for, let's say, moon, 1, moon 2. All right. You start the game on, here it is, the garden, like the Garden of Eden. Okay. Pardon me. Anything I'm missing here? Yeah, I was going to do the board here. All right. So, wizard, warrior, and they look the same, so I'm just going to underline wizard. Thief, sage, cleric. Okay, so we got a couple minutes. Cleric. If you want to be, good. Why would you play as a good? Okay, so say you're a priest, you could play as a good cleric and make it your way to heaven, or you could play as a bad cleric and then make it all the way, to the bottom of the pit. And it's Dante. It's Dante. It's kind of pagan on bookending each journey, but it's Dante in the middle. It's the Paradiso up, and let's see, the Infernal's down at the bottom of the pit. That's your way down here, and when you get at the very bottom, it's a crater, which means that there's a bulge up here. Very mountainous. Inferno, Purgatorio, I guess from this point of view, and then Paradiso, the up and out. Okay, so the top here is the up and out, and the Empyrean is way up here, and the Elysium is down is over here, but in the middle, it's all Dante, and then when you cross over, the dark path starts. You start to go down into a pit, and it swirls all the way across the planet, and then it just becomes a hole, and then there's a dark chandelier city down in, I think there's only 9 levels of hell, so Hades gets 10 because. Okay, so I could get into individual levels, and I will. Okay, so that's the cleric path. I will do that in a couple minutes. So that's the cleric path. And if you go, you go down, you can, fight demons. So that might be cool as a cleric too. Now if you go the top half, and you become all angelic, with wings and whatnot. I got my little dude to represent that kind of character. Then you go, and then what would be a dark cleric? Well, I got my Sith here, a Sith Lord. That's a dark cleric. So then Darth Maul here. All right, so then you go as a shining angelic, number 10. You start going through level 1 through 10 in the dark side, and you just coming across demons, they crumble before you. So you get points for, it would behoove you to try to go both ways, and then you would become the final boss weapon that you beat the final boss at the top. You get the weapon, and then you come down to the bottom, and then you use that all the way, and the two link up, and then now you have the ultimate cleric weapon. Okay, so that's how you become an ultimate cleric, and then which is like, you just max out all the I guess light, and then but it's not all the light and dark. There's some mix in there, so it's not pure. But the clerics are the ones that come across their own element more or less the most. Life or plant, that's a good element for thief too. Thief comes across a lot of that, and then the dark thief comes across water a lot. The okay, so I got Megatron down here to remind me that sage. You do a lot of sage, dark sage stuff. It's very robotic. It would morph your character that way, and you want guns. You have to go to metal. That's where the metal is. Up top, it's more fire is going to achieve great power, but fire, there's a lot of warrior stages that are fire for some reason. So warrior, up and down. So up actually ended up being kids, and down was more adult. 10 levels of kids levels, 10 levels of adult levels, and this would be something like what I'm wearing, something like a downwards warrior, ended up as a gunslinger, but then maybe some upwards cleric stuff. Clerics. Okay, so I should get into items now. I started to do weapons, and with the staffs, I guess warriors, the kid stuff, sporty stuff, and maybe finalizes in some club type stuff, but they're also big goofy swords. Like with He-Man with his big huge axe here. Okay, so this is a good representation of end stage kid type morphing of your avatar. Big shield, big weapon, dwarf like, and big stockiness. Some Brunhilde stuff. Okay, so uh, um, and then if you were to beat the whole top half, give you access to the life moon. Beat the whole bottom half, give you access to the dark moon. You get the special thing on the light and dark moon. Clearly, you've conquered the whole game. You've maxed everything out. So that is how you. Thief. Okay, so thief. Maybe the general vibe is something like the guy who runs around with a bow and arrow in Gauntlet. He's really quick. But I've got my guys here to remind me. Late stage thief, something like Predator here. Very, very monster hunter. Whereas um, other side, the light side, I guess, is monster hunter. Whereas the dark side is like a rogue. Joker here's a rogue. Um, Wizard, I had it broken up into witch and witch and wizard, male and female. Those are the two sides of magic I was playing with. External magic for wizard versus internal mnemonic psychological magic for witches. That's what I was going for on that one. Light and dark cleric. Let's see what else. And then actual puzzles that okay. So you do actual puzzles for the the sage that's downward that are actually engineering puzzles, manipulating objects, shapes, doing engineering things, circuitry. And then on the top side, it's that's why I have Link here because it's more of an adventure thing for the top side, and that's more like adventure. So you would actually learn like camping skills and Nell's what's it called? For the book for girls, the Nell's guide, um, the Princess Guide that teaches you all lessons that help you get through. I don't know, Boy Scout type stuff, but it's gender neutral. Anyway, so that would be your Link top journey, and once again, it would take you a while to. Link is about basically your bag, your lots of items, whereas the bottom side is more like manipulating puzzles. That's Sage. Okay, so I've gone through all the types. There's clothing changes that are related, robes for wizards. I did the if you do one of each, like skill type, that makes you a leader. Level 1 leader is conquered level 1 of wizard, cleric. Whether it's top or bottom. Level 1 on the bottom and top. Really the combo thing is sort of ultimate stuff because it requires you to completely do, let's say, 10. Yeah, it would be 10 levels of cleric stuff on the top, and then 10 levels of cleric stuff on the bottom, and then ultimate weapons combine, and so your ultimate weapons as a cleric are actually summon things. So you're the healer, the restorer, and you carry around artifacts. Wizards carry around 10 rings and one for each element. That helps them out. And then artifacts for them are more protective, whereas artifacts for summoners are where you keep your spirit that does things for you. Otherwise, you're quite weak. But on the dark half, this game would be unique because you would actually, like, chunks would come off of you, and then by the time you get to the very bottom, you would be a void. Just like I mentioned, going to the top as a cleric would make you a thing of light. Going to the bottom would make you a thing of void. So you would want to lose. Every time you took a hit, you would lose percentage off your total body until you would rock out 0%. Something similar with the robot stuff. Anyway, so there's something for everybody, is what I'm getting at. Now, 1 minute on every level would take me about 120 minutes, which 100 minutes, and hopefully I've spent only about 20 minutes so far. And then I'll probably cap some stuff at the end, which will be 120 minutes in total. So yeah, weapon, um, um, artifact, which is like accessory earring. Anyway, rings. If you're a thief, you more like have you deal in, you can maybe carry things that you can't use. And if you're a if you're a sage, you probably have the most inventory capabilities. Now, let's see. I'll have to use my knife here. So maybe I'll use my knife here as a pointer because I have to cut behind this. Items, elements. Okay, so the 5 elements. The 10 elements are light. Let's see. Okay, I got my trusty, the world of the game. Okay, it's a world. It's a whole world, obviously, and the 10 elements are here in the holy guide here. So, the light, I was going to call it holy, and then evil, but like that's kind of not cool. So I called it light, and then darkness, or dark, and then let's see, metal and water. Life is more that way. Fire is kind of with some sporadic. Earth is roughly here, and then air is kind of on the top, sporadic. Lightning, kind of more down by the metal, sporadic. Hello, I'm looking down here a lot. Sorry. Lightning is more called bolt, actually, and then ice is probably ice is above metal. So it kind of tiers in weight, more or less, or like coldness. And same with the top is how I try to keep the elements roughly banded. I thought I would need my board here a lot, but I'm not putting anything there just because I don't have time to write stuff. Yeah. So what was I talking? I did say the things are important. The amount of element you might have might be cash. Now, wizards would be able to, eventually have an ability where they transition. Okay, so every level has a main ability. Every level has a main boss. Every level has a every level meaning complete game, effectively. Each game you should spend 10 experience levels in, and then 100 levels, so 10 times 100 is 1,000. So there's like 1,000 experience points. So like the max attack would be like 999. And then I guess maybe 999 -2 comes into play when elements are involved. Okay, so which brings me to elementals. Now I did the leader the one way. Now elementals, maybe you just stick to one element, and we make that possible. So Earth level, we'll go just 1 through 10 on Earth. Whatever skills that takes you across. Now maybe that'll give you a warrior's sword and a wizard's hat and a cleric's robes, and robes was I think the one I was missing for a cleric, and a sage's a little bit of a pouch with a bunch of inventory. And it doesn't make you, it only makes you like level 3 or 4 or something like that across the board, but it makes you level 10. You get all the way to your level 10 on your water. So water, you would go from like a bit of a bubble character, let's say, or you have like inventory that's very water like, and then by the 10, like by 5, you start to become the bubble character, and then by 10, not only are you a raging, sloshing tidal waves inside you. All right, so anyway, sometimes you're a boy, And so you could do that track with every element: light, dark, water, earth. Um, earth is a lot of warrior stuff. Anyway, what would dark look like? Dark. I got my. Let's see. I don't know if you can see it. Is this? But there we go. Yeah, that's the element of darkness right there. Okay. So, and then light would be a ball of light. Um, 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 life is, the green. Um, all right. So 820. I have to move like the Mega Man guy. So I'm doing this for all my friends back in the day that I don't talk to anymore. And you know, I got this all mapped out, and I worked really hard on it. Let's. I'm gonna do this and cut it up into little shorts, like I've cut up all these, and then I'll never talk about this because I have no capacity to make this. But this is a good leader class. He's by the way, he's got a nice frill behind there and a cape, and he's got his little snake from some monster hunting on a let's see thief on an upwards monster hunter rancher thief kind of adventure. He was an upwards leader. So his little avatar picked up some interesting stuff. All right, let's do this. Level 1. Oh yeah, so they all come from the garden. Now the garden, you have 5 choices. Do you take okay, so you get to the garden, and it's the circle with the 2 wings and the 2 snakes, and the 2 snakes are, what is it, power, omnipotence. Okay, so, that'll be a warrior thing, strength, and then the circle, all knowing, omniscience. So that's a good a sage thing, and sages for the dorks, and then the 2 wings, omnipresence. That's a good wizard thing, because the wizard should go through every single type of element. Therefore, they can have an inventory of 100 elements in their pocket, and that would be different than having an inventory of a bunch of objects, which would be different than an inventory of weapons, and then inventory of clothes. These are, and then you have your health, your percentage points of your body left, and okay, so a lot of those are, and then your accessories. So there's quite a few pocketbooks there, and and then do you want to take the orb? So now we're going to throw you in the thief, and then do you want to do you like the wings or whatever? Do you want to go everywhere? Do you want to see it all or whatever? Okay, so we're just gonna throw you in the wizard class, and then thief took it, and then it's a good thing I got my little guys here. Maybe the adventurers go see them all. Okay, so we split the wings into do you want to wear the wings or do you want to use the wings? Something like that. I kind of blew how to cut that up, but we make there's 5 choices, and there's a visual thing and even an audio thing, and we break it up, and so it becomes clear which way you're going to go. I could have done better. Somebody else can. Okay, so that doesn't matter. What matters is that there's 5 ways out of the garden, and then you go up, down randomly. If you don't like it, reset the game. I'm sweating because it's hot in here, and now it's getting dark, so there's some shadows. I apologize. All right, so what time is it? 2 more minutes. What else did I do? When you go to the 2 moons, it's clearly the top moon. I was going to say that it's like Twilight. No, Majora's Mask in 64, where it's all nice, and then you go to the bottom moon, and plates shift around, and you have to have those sage skills. So only finishing all 10 might get you there, but you would still need to finish 10, the whole top half, basically all 5, so 50 levels, in order to get to the top moon, and finish all of its stuff. You would have had to have used the ultimate item from all 5 different adventure paths. Warrior, wizard, warrior, thief, sage, cleric. Okay, I should get used to saying that. All right, so you get out of the Garden of Eden. It's all nice, and it's just like it's the intro stage to Fortnite. Okay, and some levels in here are Fortnite, but all right, so where's my trusty cutter? I'm gonna need it. Let's go with stage 1, cleric. All right, I have notes here on my ball, and they help me out. Choose path. I got a tree. I've got that little symbol with the circle, the snake, the 2 wings. It says the garden. It says stage 0. There's also a stage in space, and there's 2 stages in the planet's core. Hopefully I don't forget them all. All right. Why is that? Well, Norse mythology. Also, Chinese mythology is really great because there's a god. There's like 10. There's like a god of lightning and a god of thunder and what's his name, Sub-Zero stuff, and the god of ice or something. I'm probably messing that up. I don't know what I'm talking about. Forgive me, but the Chinese stuff is great. It works perfectly. There's like 10 generals. For each god is what I was trying to get at, and it works out great. What is it? The god of storms is in Mortal Kombat. That's the only reference I have. Is anyway, I'll figure it out. I'll post it on the screen. That really threw me off. All right, so 1 minute. I keep putting it off, and I'm trying to get through it all. But I have to find it too. Stage 1 of light. Here we go. All right. Now I'm gonna now the order 1 through 10. That's not in order of cultural importance or something like that. We want every culture in here, and if it's not, just please, there should be a patch somewhere. But it's not that every culture is smeared across everyone. It's every level of the 100 is trying to make an homage to some culture, because we don't want. It's part of the point of this that we stack in a game that's fun to play, that can actually teach you Spanish, teach you French if you get into it. There's no reason why not to stick a primer for all. The Young Ladies Illustrated Primer is the book I was trying to think of. Anyway, you stick a primer for every language in here, because languages get lost every day, and it would be fun to learn one, and it would be fun to have to play with a language translator that took all of your English and turned it into English if you wanted. That would be cool. And this is a good platform for that. Take all of your text and turn it into Mayan, because you got into the Mayan level and you are Mayan. Here's your Mayan culture preserved best as we can in a video game. At least we can teach some people the glyphs, the language, some of the icons. Put it in there. I was trying to mention the Chinese. Every culture on Earth that's getting lost every day. Thousands. There were thousands languages, tens of thousands of languages, and probably lowballing that. And thousands of cultures. Why not try to stick their major cities in here? Why not try to stick their stuff in here? It should be great to have Shangri-La. That's Xanadu is in here. Okay, so okay, so where's light 1? I'm going to have to search on the map and also look on the ball, and then also read whatever I got and look in the holy text here. All right, so the the gradation from 1 to 10 is stacked on intensity. So real quick, if you go the dark path, the Inferno. It's there's seven. There's the seven princes of hell. There's the the seven sisters of hell, the Pleiades, deception, strife, battle, jealousy, power, error, and then you go the top way, and then the keys, the keys and the peas. Okay. Um, um, anyway, so the intensity I have written down for each one of the elements, and I'm just going to do that real quick um, for which ones I can find out of the big book here. Life. What I've got: Deku Tree, the Green Tree Man, Sherwood Forest, Wooden City, Overgrown Wooden City, Park, Holy Looking Park. It says pools. That reminds me of A World in Between Worlds in Narnia. The jungle, the dense jungle, Tree Fort City, Holy Park Forest. I'll try to keep my O's to a minimum. I'm sorry. And then note here: Wooden City, missing Trojan horse. Okay. What's after life? Light. High Priestess Pillars, Argonath Neverland. To Mirrors House of. So House of Mirrors in light. Okay. Not sure if that comes through. These are older notes. When I go through my big notes one level at a time, those are locked in. These are just to show where where our minds, where my friends and I were going with the intensity thing. So, but also some notes from cross cross level referencing gets in here, and okay, so level 3, which is why I say level 3 is Eiffel Tower. That's the City of Lights. France is the city. Paris is the City of Lights. Level 4, Mayan Pyramid, has to do with they built their pyramids the way for light to come in from one angle of the doorway down the hallway, slightly hitting the back angle of the other. At certain days of the year, the sun would peek through certain doorways. The Mayan pyramids are funny like that. 5, I've got that dome, the Dome of the Mount, Solomon's Temple. 6, other temples. I'll get to 7, mountain statues, Sphinx. 8, Bella's house. 9, Bridge of Voyager. That must be the space level. 10, clouds in heaven. And then 11, Endor moon. Okay, that must be. Anyway, these notes aren't as good as the actual levels. I might cut these down, but here we go. What's the next one? Fire. Burning Field, Campfire. 2, Cave Fire. 3, Burning City. 4, Burnt Castle, Dragonfire. 5, Volcano, Herculaneum and Pompeii. 6, Ballistic Nuclear, Thermonuclear War, Global Map. 7, which was the War Games. 7, Explosive Battle Fighter, Fire, Megiddo, 3 Roads. That's Armageddon stuff. No, that's 8. 7 is Lasers, Directed Fire. 9, Into the Volcano, Living Gems. That's Narnia. That's the newts in Narnia. Getting hot. Sorry. 4 or 10. 4 Pillars of Fire. Okay, that's a cleric reference. Water, river, canoes, islands. 2 sewers, 3 piracies, 4 underwater light pipes, Nautilus. 5 lakes and mermaids. 6 Battleship, the movie. 7 scuba and deep sea. submarines. 8, floating fort. That's the Waterworld one, the fort in Waterworld, which I kind of love. Okay, so some of them, like the thief, is actually okay. So dark thief, it's more than just being a dark thief. It's actually like this whole story, and it's do you get the girl or do you get the money, and that's the way you want to write the thief thing, where it's actually this plot across the entire game, because that's the way you make a real game. Whereas if you do it the kids warrior path, you're just kind of skipping around from, like, it's a Battleship, so like Battleship is like, or Street Fighter. So you just spend your whole time doing the 10 on 10 in the 10 light and 10 dark in the Street Fighter game, or you keep going and you do all kid 10, and you get rewarded for that. Okay, which the water progression reminded me of that. Scuba, deep sea, floating fort, sea fort, dark ruins, and then 10 is Atlantis. Sorry, 7, scuba, deep sea, submarines visible. 8, floating fort. 9, seafloor, dark ruins, which is like a what's it, Cthulhu type stuff. Love it. 10, Atlantis. Okay. Metal. 1, gold bricks. 2, Bronze Age. 3, metal ruins, desert. 4, refinery. 5, Paris. 6, Mercury. Paris, Eiffel Tower, World War One, Tesla, World's Fair. That's all 5. 6, Mercury, silver, Terminator, India. That is cool. AI Labs. 5 is Copper Metal City. 4 is iron. 3 is iron oxide. 2 is bronze and tin. 1 is gold. Okay, let's see what I was doing there. 6, the silver, Terminator, India, HG and AG. Okay. A 7 is aluminum, so that's Tokyo, Europe, bullet trains, Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible, right. 8, so that's a thief thing. 8, nuclear labs, Nostromo. Functional nuclear power facility on 8. 9, robot machine city. 10, Omnius Spire, The Matrix. Or Dune. Sorry about that. 9 is 9. It says the Machine City, Robot Machine City, Matrix 3, and then 10 is Omni Spire. So just one mind instead of a bunch of robots. All right. 11 is Death Star. Death Star. That's a good Death Star versus Unicron. Death Star might be better, more familiar with people. Octahedron. Okay, yeah, I got to get into that at some point. So, so Bolt, Pharaohs, Alexandria 1, 2, Evangelion, 3, Tron, City in Stone, Lightning City, Decatron. Oh, I like that one. That one's cool. It sounds dumb, but it's cool for techie people, because it teaches you actually how to do circuits. So 3 on the techie side, you're already doing circuitry. You're just moving around like light and stone blocks, but it's circuitry. 4, Lightning Tower, Lightning Storm. That's some wizard stuff. It says Neverland, Indians, Orthanc. 5, Bolt City, Vegas Strip, Bellagio. 6, Fifth Element Towers, very tall towers, versus Vegas is not as tall as the towers, but it's all lit up, Future Air City. 7, Space Wars, Spaceship. 8, N2O Racing, Lightning Fields. Yeah, N2O, yeah, okay, that makes sense. So that's like that's a kid's warrior game, so, 9, Thor, DBZ, On Water, Vanaheim. That's a warrior thing. 10, VR Space. I don't know if 10 and Bolt is like that, but all right, these might be older notes. And then I've got Beneath Dark. No, that was Bolt here. Okay, Ice. The holy text has it written in that level, that arrangement. Here we go. 1, Iceberg, World War II plane. I love that level. That is so much fun. I can't wait. Okay, I'll talk to you guys about that. That's gonna be that. Project Habakkuk. Okay, World War II planes. Like that's got to be kid level. That's Ice One. That's kid level. That's RC. Okay. I'll get into it. Harry Potter 2, Ice Lake. 3, Igloo, Inuit. Yes, the Inuit culture. Let's real cultures in here. Okay. Las Vegas, real place. It's American culture. But I love this Inuit thing. That was great. Frozen Mountain, 007 snowboard. And you know, some games you just have to be in here because they're mega games. Sometimes it's a mega culture. We want, you know, there's room. If I make mistakes, there's room. 5 Russian. Where are we at? Ice. 5 Russian fjords. Fjords, Russian rivers. 13. The 13th Warrior. It's a great book. A great reference. 6 Napoleon, World War I, World War II, Ice Force. I love talking about that. That's why I'm talking about this now, to get to that. Xmas, North Pole. 7. So much fun. Just a bunch of Christmas stuff. All right. South Pole Ice Palace. I'm sure that's like the Narnia, the Ice Queen. Okay. Fortress of Solitude, 9. Ice Cave. Fortress Solitude from Superman. Before Time. Land Before Time, Icefield. Before Time, Icefield. Oh, Icefield from Before Time. Okay, that's like a warrior thing, I'm sure. Okay, or wizard maybe, but yeah, we'll get there. It's a Norse. The Time Before Time. All right, we'll get there. Here's my dark notes. It's all just cantos. Every canto written out goes up to 30, 34 cantos. Wow. All right, it's in there. 1 Woods, Dead Tree. 2 Cemetery. So this is dark. This is the spooky stuff. So it gets more intense, spooky, not culturally. There's no dominance cultural. This is just more intense, dark stuff. 1 Dead Tree for the woods. Instead of the Deku tree, it's the dead tree. 2 the Deku tree is a big living tree that like almost goes into space. 2 Cemetery. 3 Zombie Swamp Town. There's like a ghost ship reference somewhere in here. 4 Underground Tombs, Catacombs. 5 Deep Cave River. 6 Mausoleum and Catacombs, Underground Suburbs. 7 Dead Park Beach, Beetlejuice, Edge Walls. These will become apparent when I actually go through the levels one at a time. 8 Dead City Ruins, Stone Vault. 9 River in the Vault Lake. 10 Dead Museum. 9 Specimens Table Lab of Horrors. Okay. 10 Dead Museum. And then Pluto and Persephone, Death Star. 0, like 11 is the Death Star, Metal City. Okay. All right. Okay. So as far as the different types of characters, skills, I've got Witch and Wizard, Necromancy, and Holy Cleric. Those are the 2 clerics. Kid Warrior and Adult Warrior. Rogue and Ranger. Rogue is Joker, and then Ranger, as in kind of like a monster hunter thing. I put for Predator there because he I wanted to put him as Warrior, but I had He-Man over there. I didn't have She-Ra, But Rogue and Ranger, I should have had She-Ra. She-Ra's cool. Modern She-Ra's very cool. Adventure and Tech. Those must be the 2 Sage types. Adventure Link. Tech, Megatron. Alrighty. So that's the holy text. I'm going to put that aside here. Sometimes I'm going to bend over real far because I got to look at tiny little notes on the bottom as well as notes up here, and then flip cards over as I go. Like the Mega Man guy, got to move. This is why I'm recording this. Got to get it done. Pardon me. I'll cut that. So, taking a breather. There's a lot. Why am I? Okay. Sometimes even if you fail, it's worth it to try because it was fun. We're having fun here. All right. It's me believing in myself. I'm going to go through by, I'm going to do the light ones, and then I'll probably do the dark, and then I will, do I do them no, it doesn't make sense to do them by element. It makes sense to do them by path of, like, a wizard and stuff like that. Okay. Okay, which means I'd have to know my Sage 1 through 10 levels better than I'd have to know. That's tough. That's a lot. I'm taking a break.